Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited to show you how to make this beautiful heart. So I did these in the final day of the 30-day challenge, but unfortunately it was really difficult to see the beads because they're so pale, and the mat in the background was yellow, so I could tell as I was filming it that I had a hard time seeing it. So I did say that I would redo it. So we're going to do it with these colors. And I picked these colors to find, I was surprised at how hard it was to find colors that you would be able to see. So I alternated the colors from row to row. So this design is just doing that, is changing the color each row when you go around. So if you're trying to recreate this color, it just works out perfectly. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to do everything, including adding the ear wire or post. And so that's a little different too. In this one, in the video, what I did, and I forgot to do it before I zipped it up, is I put a head pin in there, and I put it I had to kind of dig through here to get it in. I highly recommend you just add it at the end and make sure it's not going to come through the top. The reason I did that was I wanted the crystal, and let's enlarge this here so you can see and flip this a bit. I wanted the crystal to be attached to the heart. I didn't want to see, like in this one I did a different example. You can see the eye pin. So this one again, I completed this and then decided to go ahead and add something. So I added it like that. But I would definitely recommend adding a head pin before you stitch up your end piece here. And I did have a suggestion from a subscriber about adding a wire guardian to attach your ear wire. Now, the reason I didn't use it on this one, I was actually going to use it. It's a really great idea, but again, I wanted to add a crystal. So once you add this, you could essentially put a crystal with what I've done on this one with an eye pin on both sides. But so it starts to get like a little kind of confusing and trying to decide how to, do it so you don't see the metal and stuff like that. Anyway, you can sew it on, but again, that brings problems because your crystal's going to sit sideways if you sew it on. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. You can do that for sure. They're so tiny you might not see. I mean, it would look something like that, but again, you would have to add your crystal, and it starts to get complex doing it that way. So let's just jump right into this, since there is another video out there. Yeah, so you're going to need, I have an eye pin and I cut it already to the length that I did the other earring. So I'm just going to put that aside. This is a 6mm Swarovski Emerald AB crystal. And then I have these ear wires that I got on AliExpress. They're so beautiful. I'm itching to use them. So finally I can use them. They're going to look amazing. They have them in silver too. Gold. I think they have them in the shiny silver as well. I like the matte silver. And then these ear nuts I got from BB Craft, and they're separate from these earrings. But since they're post, I wanted to make sure there was a ear nut. So these are the colors I'm using. I did say in the other video I did a bunch of different samples. If you haven't seen that video and you're not interested in going back, I can show you some of the samples I did. That one's not finished. That one's the same. Okay, so this one here is an example. This is done with Toho gold. I think it's antique gold, this bead color. Then I did them with Miyuki, and I added extra rows here. So it does look a bit funny, but you know what, just saw some Pinterest images of hearts where they actually add more rows this way, and it creates like a big poofy heart. So I'll definitely be doing a video for that. You can use them for keychains or a pendant, stuff like that. They get really big. And here's one that would be equivalent to, so this one's done with a Toho and this one's done with a Miyuki bead. And so the Miyukis are a little rounded, these are a little more tubular. So you do see a difference in the size as well. And then I tried it in 8-0 Miyukis, and this is what it looks like. I think it needs some more shape to it, but it's still pretty cool. So let's get started. This color here is matte color opaque gray, and it is Toho round size 11, and this one is round Toho round size 11, and the color is perma finish galvanized teal. Ooh, lovely. So let's put some out. I think it's probably great thing about this is it doesn't need a lot of beads to make. Let's get these out. You're going to need your scissors. You're going to need a, I'm using a size 10 needle. You don't need anything smaller than that for this size. This is the Dragon Thread size 6 in the green. Just to say, you can use whatever you have on hand. So you can use Nymo thread, you can use Dragon thread. The definitely something like a Nymo thread or a 1G is less expensive than some of these fused ones, and you don't need a fused one because these are not structural. And what I mean by that is, say you're making a bracelet and you need the bracelet to hold up to maybe pulling something, grabbing on your bracelet when it's on your wrist. That's what I mean by structural. It has to keep the shape. But with this, because we're not pulling on any part of it, it's going to dangle off of a thing. You can use a finer thread. So that's what I'm getting at. But I did find that I kind of liked working with this. So I'm going to take a wingspan. You don't need a complete wingspan, but I'll tell you, when you're doing them, you want to make sure you have enough thread. You don't want to have to start and end thread on this design for sure. So I'm just gonna get my needle on there, and I'm just flattening the thread to get it in the eye. But with a size 10 needle, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Get that on. I'm gonna fold it over quite a bit just for the sake of the video. And let's get started. Center this a bit. Okay, so I'm going to start where I started on the previous one so that the lines match up, but you can start with whatever color you want. So you're going to start with 3 beads of the one color. You're going to take it down and you're going to bring it down close to the end, but you're going to leave a tail long enough that you can hang on to and maybe thread back in, because we're not putting any knots. So let's go back through these 3 beads like that, pull through that, and then go back through the first one, and that will help you close the loop. It is a bit finicky at the beginning because you don't have a lot to hold on to. So just pull it like that, and it's going to create this little diamond shape. That. Now you're going to pick up 2 more of the same color, and you're coming out of this bead here. We're going to go into the other side. Like that. And you're going to create this shape. So it's like a little bow tie or a capital letter I. That. So now we're going to go through, we're coming out of this bead here. We're going to go through this bead. And I'm going to try to keep everything in the same position, but it's difficult trying to hold on to it and show you at the same time, so I apologize. So now these two sides are actually going to end up creating a V shape. So you can hold it from your tail thread and let it kind of create this natural circle. I'm just going to check my design to make sure. So now there's that middle bead and then the 2 side beads on each side. So now we're going to go to the alternate color. That's what I needed to check. If you're doing it all the same color, it's not an issue, but I just wanted to show you this so you can see the difference. So we're going to pick up 2 beads, and I'll tell you right off the bat, these sides here, the end sides, are herringbone stitch. So if you're familiar with herringbone stitch, if you're not, it's not a big deal. I'll show you how to do it, but it might help to get things going quicker if you do know herringbone. And then the on either side this way is going to be peyote to start. But again, it's not, you don't have to have knowledge of that. So go through this one here with your 2 beads on. So you're coming out of this one, you're going to go into the other one. Let's see if I can hang on to this. There, so you see how they sat like a herringbone. So now go to the other one and go up the first one like that. So your thread was coming out of this bead here. We just went through that way. So you're going to add 2 to this side, and you're going to go through just the 1 bead, and you can pop them in place. That. So now we are actually going to add a bead to attach these 2. Let me just check that for a second here. I'm just checking because, yeah. So now we're going to use the teal color, and we're going to take 1 bead and pop it into there. So you're always alternating colors. So let's pop that one in there. And then go to the other side, or now we're at the herringbone side, so we're going to add 2 here. You know, I think this is incorrect. So let's take this one out. That's why I was checking. Let's take that one out. Okay. We're going to go in without adding on this side. I was jumping the gun. I knew there was something not right with this. And you know what? I apologize when you break things down this slowly, sometimes with the camera and you're thinking ahead. And so there you go. So you have your little V shape. Now we're going to alternate the color. So now we're just going to, coming out of this one, we're going to go into this one here. And see if you can position those guys. There we go. So you know what, those black beads are affecting the view. So there's the one side. Now we're going to add a teal color bead in between. So we're coming out of this black bead, so we're going to go into this black bead on the other side. Just like that. Now we're going to add 2 teal beads on this side and go through the black bead. There. And we're going to add 1 teal bead here in between those 2 black beads. Like this. And go through both of these beads. Like that. So this is what you have so far. It's still in a V shape, and actually you can start to hold on to it this way to pinch it. But there you go. So now we're going to go to our gray bead. We're going to add 2 beads to the herringbone stitch and come out of that green bead or teal bead. I think I lost a bead there. Yeah, I did. This design is really fun to do, but you do have to pay attention. I find I either lose a bead or I add 3 beads instead of 2 if you're not like totally paying attention, and then you have to go back and undo it. So now we're coming out of this teal bead. Let's see if I can show you. So we're going to add a gray bead between this green bead and this green bead. This is where the peyote starts. So you're basically adding a bead in the low sections. Now it doesn't look like much right now, but once you do a few more rows, then you'll start to see the peyote stitch pretty straightforward. Just so it looks like at the top. Let me show you from the side. So now you have these 2 beads sticking up. And we are going to add 2 more beads on this side of the gray. Like this. Okay, so now we're going to change colors. No, we still have to add our gray beads. So pick up 1. You're coming out of this green bead. You're going to go into the next green bead. Let's pop this forward here. There. And then 1 more gray bead. So you're coming out of this bead, you're going to go into this bead, and you're going to go through the next gray one, like that. You can see it's starting to come together. Okay, now change colors. Now you can hold on to it this way. Makes it a little easier. So pick up 2 beads for your herringbone at the end. So you're coming out of this one, we're going to go into this one. There. Now we're going to add the green beads to the low points. So 1, 2, 3. So the first one coming out of here, we're going to go into here. Just make sure that it's not hooked. So your thread gets hooked too, so just be aware. So you're coming out of this gray bead, we're going to go into the next one. That was our second. We're going to add one more to this side. So we're coming out of this gray bead, we're going to go into this one. Like that. And we are now at the herringbone stage, so you're going to add 2 beads. Like that. Coming out of here, we're going to go into here. Like that. So now we're going to add beads into the low sections here. So we'll continue with the green. Coming out of here, we're going to go into here. Like that. And the next one. And we're going to go through the next gray bead and through the green, like that. So let's take a look. This is what we have so far. And same on the other side. So now we're going to change colors. We're going to go to the gray, and we are on the end, so we want to add 2 beads. We're coming out of this one, we're going to go in through this one, like that. And just kind of reposition. Like that. Sometimes they don't sit the way you want. They're finicky. Let me see if I can get that. There. So now we're coming out of here. We are going to add a gray bead. Coming in here, go into here. So we're going to go all the way around. We're going to add some gray beads, and then we're going to go to the end, add 2 gray beads, and then go to the other side. Like this. Let me know if this is still not clear. I did, when I reviewed some of the other videos, and I realized, you know, they were showing from the side so you could see the peyote stitches. And for me, I found it difficult because I prefer to see it from the top view, but I realized that it's hard to see it that way. But so yeah, let me know if it's still not clear. I will do my best to make it. Here's the thing, I really enjoy doing these. These are so much fun. Once you get the hang of them, they're just probably one of my favorite things to do. So I like to show people that, like, don't be afraid of trying something that looks confusing, because if you break it down by steps, you can do it. Oh, we're just doing the peyote on this side. One more. Let me flip this so I can. So I'm coming out of this green bead. We're going to go in through the green and through. You know what? This gray is in the way. There. And I've got 1 bead on my needle of the gray. So it will sit in this slot here. Let's flip it up. Okay. This is what we have so far. That. And like that. So we're going to continue like this until we have 6 sticking up beads. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need to do this 2 more times, and that means 2 more times all the way around. So If you're not sure which side you're on, count each side. So then go to the other side and go 1, 2, 3, 4. So you know you have 4 on that side, 4 on that side, so you're complete on this round. So 2 more rounds all the way. So let's go to the next color, which is the green. Oh, I did do a rainbow one to show the colors. I don't know where I put it. Oh, you know what? I started doing it. That's what it is, and I stopped. The opaque colors that I have are very tiny beads, and it was way too small to show in a video. So I did do one using 50 no beads, and it's really cute. I think it's in here. So if you really want to challenge yourself, there's the 50 no's. But it was super, super difficult just hanging on to it. That's in place. So we'll just keep going. So I also, if you're new to my channel, you may not know, I don't edit my videos. So like that one spot where I made the mistake, other people might stop the video and start all over and edit it and stuff like that. I don't do any of that. Um, the reason being is it's time consuming to edit videos, and I prefer to show you more videos so I can do that if I don't have to edit them. And the other part to that is this is a hobby for me, so I'm doing this for fun, editing videos. I used to do it. I used to do filmmaking. It's a lot of work. I enjoyed it, but for something like this, I want to keep this as a hobby, not as it is. I say it's a hobby. My wife laughs because, well, you see how many videos I have. So just keep going. That. I think I may have grabbed a thread underneath, so it's sitting funny. Let me see if I can. There. Oh, I see what I did. I went through the same side of that bead. Okay, I need to come out. So, speaking of mistakes, now that worked. It came off. If it doesn't come out, it's caught on something. Just take your needle off and pull your thread out and then rethread it, because trust me, it's frustrating trying to fix stuff without taking your needle off. So one more on this side. I'm just gonna hold it this way so you can see. So we're coming out of that gray bead. We're going to go into the next gray bead and through the green. So now the green is complete on both sides. We're going to change colors, and let's count. We have, just count your sticking up beads. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So one more time around and the fun begins. And it is fun. Yeah. Pick up 2, go through just the green bead. Then, so you can see how these are sticking up. We're going to add a gray bead. We're coming out of this one. We're going to go into this one. And keep going. So I like to challenge myself with more intricate designs. And like I said, you can you can do anything if it's broken down. And like, there's so much stuff on YouTube now, instructional videos, that you can do it. It's exciting when you complete something that's, 4 years ago, I would have looked at this and said, no way I can do that. So this is the last one on this side. That. So this is what I mean. If we count the sticking up beads on this side, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But you look to the other side, well, first of all, they're green, so we know that we didn't add our grays on that side. But if you counted your sticking up beads, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need 6 like this side. So let's add our 2 here, like that. Come through this green bead. Get that guy on there. And now let me flip it so you can see it a little better. Pick up the gray and add into the little slots. That. Like that. There. Now, normally I talk about stuff while I'm doing beading, showing you stuff, but this one you change what you're doing pretty quickly, so I'll try and keep it to the instructions alone. But I can't guarantee it. So the challenge was amazing. I did a 30-day challenge, and it ended up being earrings. I was going to do different things, but it just made more sense to do the earrings because I could do like a 10-minute video or a 20-minute video. So now we're at the end. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on both sides. This is what it looks like on both sides. So now what we are going to do, our thread is coming out of the end bead. We are actually going to fold this like a taco in the opposite direction. So put your fingers here and just bring the two ends together like that. So we are on the bottom bead. So you're going to go through the bottom bead of the corresponding bead on the other side. So let's go through here like that. Okay, I'm just going to turn this around to make it easy. So this is what it looks like now. That's amazing. How easy is that to flip? Okay, so we're going to work on this side here, creating this section up here. So you don't have to worry about this point here being tight. It'll loosen a bit when we get around to adding, and of course this is like peyote, so when we get back around here we'll make sure it's nice and tight. So let's hang on to it this way, and now you can see the sticking out beads are the gray colors, so we want to add green. If you're not sure which to add, if you look, if I add a green here, it's going to match up with this line anyway. So, and that was like just totally rando that it worked out this way. So that was exciting. Coming out of this bead, we're going to go into the next sticking out bead and attaching that green bead. There. Then go to your next one. So we're going to do 4 rounds of this. So you want to make sure you remember which section you're at. It's not always easy to figure that out. So that's why I mention it. So we're going to add the next one. That. See if I can give you a better idea of what it looks like. Okay, go through the next one. And I'm just going to flip it again. See? Next one. Like that. So this is our first round. Oops. Just go through the sticking out beads like that. Adding your green beads. Next one. And don't worry if you're pressing down and like affecting the shape of this, because we're going to fill it, and I forgot to mention that at the beginning. We're going to fill it with saran wrap to give it its shape. So we're coming out of this bead here. Let me see if I can show this better. We're coming out of this bead here. We're going to add a green and we're going to go through this one here. So just if I can get in there. There, like that. That. Now we're going to go to the gray. And to start with the gray, so you can see these are the two beads we started with. And I'm pointing this out because in the videos that I looked at, it was really hard to see what they were doing here. So some people, when they joined it together, they added a bead in there. I prefer to add my bead in this round. So in your second turnaround, which is your gray color. So you're going to go from this bead. You're going to skip that bead, you're going to go into the green. Okay, and what that's going to do is it's going to put that bead on top of the gray bead there. So kind of a step up. So let's keep going with the gray all the way around into the slots. There. Next one. So it's really nice that it creates these lines. There's all kinds of designs you can do with these. So another gray. So coming out of this green, we're going to skip that gray, go into the green, bring it through. So that's the end of our second row. We're going to add, and we're going to go to our gray beads now. So this is our third row. Again, we're going from this green bead to this gray. Actually, this is incorrect. I think for this one, yeah, we do. We're still on the gray for this one. So we added this gray. We're going to add a gray here. And then we're going to change to green. I apologize. So your middle of your heart's going to be a line of gray. Okay, now we go to our green. So you can tell you need to put green in the green slots. So this is our third way around. I think I added, no, I thought maybe I added two beads there. Okay. Around. These go super fast. It's just taken a long time because explaining in a video takes a little longer. Yeah, I'm at 40 minutes on my video, and These, if you've done a few, it'll take you 20 minutes to make one. There. Another green. And sometimes there's no hole in the beads. That happens. Let's go through here. Now we're going to add a gray here. And this is our 4th time around, I think. This is what I mean. It's very easy to get confused as to where you're at. So you might try and do something to determine what row you're on, because you don't want one side being longer than the other, and I've actually had that on a few of these. But I was doing these while I was watching TV, so it's very confusing. There. That. Let's flip this around. So we're coming to this section. We're going to add our gray bead to finish this off. Like this. So let me see if I can... I think I need to do a 4th row. There's our 2 we started with. So no, 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be it. So now we're going to decrease to create the nice rounded section, and we're going to use the green beads. So you're going to take 1 green bead. You're coming out of this gray bead. You're going to go into the next gray bead, but you're going to go into the following as well. So like this. 2 beads. You're decreasing at this point. So just pull it tight like that, so you can kind of see your thread right here. Now pick up another green bead. You're coming out of this bead. You're going to go into this one and the next one again to decrease. So we're going to decrease all the way around here. That. You can pull it so you can see it's starting to kind of bend rounded. We're going to pick up a green. We're going to, coming out of this one, we're going to go into this one and the next one. Like that. And pull it. Now we need 1 more green. So we're coming out of this one. We're going to go through the next bead and the next green bead. Like that. And you know what? I think I skipped. Like you can change colors here, but I ended up using all green for the end, so it created this little diamond shape. Let me show you this side too. So there, this diamond shape. But you can do whatever you want. Let me need to extend my thread here. I don't know if there's a knot. There we go. Right down. Okay, so let's review this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 beads here. Now we're going to attach 1 bead in between these 2, in between these 2, in between these 2, between these 2 for a total of 4. So pick up 1. You're coming out of here. You're going to go into the next green bead. You can see, you pull it, starts to snug it. One bead, you're coming out of this bead, you're going to go into the next green bead. Like that. Pick up one green bead, you're coming out of here, you're going to go into here. This. Okay, now we've got 1, 2, 3. We need a fourth one in here. So pick up a green bead, that, go through this one, and you can see now you can pull it tight and it creates this cool diamond shape. You could leave it like that if you wanted to, but we're going to go and we're going to take the 4 beads we just added and we're going to cinch those closer together to close off that hole. So go into the next bead, which was the first of the 4 that we just added. Go in through that one. You're going to skip that one. You're going to go into the next one, like that. Oh, this earring is in the way. I can't get rid of it. It's all hooked. There, you see how they start to create a little cross. Go into, skip that one, go into the next one. Like that. There. You're gonna skip the next one, go into this one. That. Again, it's getting loose, not a big deal. It'll get tight once we get through them all. So skip that one, go into this one. And now you can pull and you can hang on to it to kind of squeeze it to get it as tight as you want, like that. So that's what it's going to look like. So now what we want to do is, first of all, we want to keep that tension on there. So I think I might go around a few more times, one more time, or part way. And then we're going to take our thread and we're going to bring it to the other side so we can finish the other side. So again, just keep skipping. One bead, you can go through 2 at once, like that. And tight. So now, where you go for your beads is up to you. I think I might go around to this side and then go up. So let's skip that bead, go through this one. So we basically have gone around twice on the final diamond shape. Let's go through here. And I'm going to go through this here. So we need to be up here, but you'll see what I'm getting at. If you know peyote, you know you can go from one bead to the other and then across on an angle. So that's basically what I'm doing. So here's the one bead I'm coming out of. I'm going to go into this one, but I'm going to go in at an angle to get in through here. So let me pick up this bead, go through here. And there's many ways to get your thread back there. There's so many ways, there's probably no wrong way to do it. Just don't want your thread peeking through. So you can see I've gone on an angle through those beads. And so now what I want to be is I want to attach these 2 beads. Oh, they're hard to see. Those 2, that one and that one, like we did on this side. So I'm actually going to come back out of this one and then go across this way and go through the 2 beads. Okay. And then attach these 2 beads. So you're coming out of this one, you're going to go into the next one. And we're ready to start on the other side, but before you do that, I like to put my, this looks too short. I must have skipped a step. Let me see here. It may be that I just tightened it a little too much, so let's pop it open a bit. I take a piece of saran and I just kind of squish it together in a line. And get my threads out of the way, take the tip of my scissors and pop it into the hole till it's as full as I want it to be. So I would recommend you use a lot. I'm surprised at how compressed saran wrap gets. So if you're, attaching your ear wires and stuff, you could accidentally squish it down and then there's nothing you can do because it's already complete. So we're going to fill that as much as we can. So yeah, I did fill it out. That looks better. I'll only know when I review the video if I actually missed a line. You guys are probably like, oh, Emma, you only did 3, not 4. So let's just get that all in there. And there's the first side. So we're going to go ahead. And now you can see those 2 beads a little better too because of the saran wrap. But once it's all complete, you can't see that. So now if you take a look, we're going to add a green row because we're going to be putting our beads in between the 2 high beads. So it's definitely a green row there. So there's 1, 2, 3, yeah, I don't have to count this side. I feel like sometimes like Sesame Street, the count. I'm always counting. A lot of counting in life. I swim and I keep track of how much I swim, so I'm constantly counting the meters as I go. And it's like a big joke that you forget to count your meters or you lose your count. Okay, so I'm picking up a gray bead just because we want to put a gray bead here. Go through the green, so now we can do our gray color. This is row 2. So we should end with a gray color. That might help me remember which row I'm on. Oh, there was no... I've done this before where the bead came off my needle. And then I got around and I'm like, where's the bead? It's missing. It's there. So if you got this section down, you can fast forward to the end. But sometimes you can see things a little differently on the second half because the saran wrap's there. So even though I changed the color so that you'd be able to see it, I still find it's very hard to see. If you think of it, it's 3D and you're watching in 2D. So it's hard to give you the image without flipping it all the time and showing you side to side. So gray bead into the gray bead. So that was row 2. This is row 3. Blue bead in there. Get around. That. And one more row, so we're going to go with the gray. That. There. So it definitely goes faster when you're just going through it like this. There. We are coming to the end and we're going to decrease. Just make sure that's not hooked somewhere. It's not sitting right. So it's definitely hooked. So it just hooked on another bead. Okay, our last gray bead here. That. There. So now we're going to decrease using the green beads. So our first green bead, we're going to go through. So we're coming out of here, we're going to go through here, and the next one. That. Pick up one more, go through the next one, and the following one. That. Pick up one bead, we're going to go through the next gray and the following one after that. So we're going to pick up 2 at once. Okay. Green bead, we're going to go through the next gray, and then the green. So that's our first decrease. You can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4 in between those green beads. Oh, before you do that, let's fill the rest of the heart with some saran wrap. So I just grabbed like a whole bunch and then I kind of squish it up here. That's all I do, like that. I think probably about this much is fine. We may not even need that much. It's just, we definitely won't need that much. So let me just pop those open again so the threads don't get hooked. And like that. Take your scissors and poke that in. So you can see it goes in quite a bit. Okay, I think that's good. So make sure your threads are out of the way and just go ahead and cut that. I always leave a little bit out to compress so that it is kind of nicely rounded. There. Okay. So now we're going to attach these green beads. Do I still have my green on there? No. Pick up one green. Coming out of this one, we're going to go into the next one. That. Pick up the next green. Coming out of here, we're going to go into here. And pick up the next green. Coming out of here, we're going to go into here. You can see it's starting to come together. The final one, pick up a green. Coming out of here, we're going to go into here, and I'm going to go into the next bead as well, because then we're going to attach those ones together. So make sure everything's tight like that. And kind of shape it a bit. You don't want... I feel like maybe there's too much stuff in here, so let me push that down a bit. There. That's better. You can kind of squeeze it into place. So now we're going to take those final 4 beads and we are going to cinch them up. So just go through the final 4. I'm going to pull on this initially to get the others tight. That, and I'm going to hang on to that. Go through the next in that diamond pattern. So you're always skipping one and going to the next one. Through here. That. And through this one. There. And there is your heart. So let's tie this off. I am going to go through the diamond section here. So at this point, if you were going to take your thread and attach a wire guard, I wouldn't tie off. You could put a knot just to keep that tension, landing this section nicely. But then weave your needle through to come out at these 2 middle beads so you can add your wire guard in. Like something like that. Okay, so I'm just going to take mine out. Where are we here? Here. That's nice and tight. I'm kind of making sure everything's squeezed together. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to the next bead. Pull that tight. And I'm going to pick up a thread bridge. So I'm going to go through here like that. You can see a thread there. I'm going to wrap my thread around my needle twice. I don't think that did anything. No, it didn't. Once, twice, like that. Then I put my finger on it so that the knot doesn't jump and get caught up in another bead. Pull. And then go through the next bead on an angle. And you can go through a few like that. And pull it tight, and the knot will be hidden inside. So we can cut this one off and we'll thread the other one. Now you can kind of see the strand there. I just take my nails and squeeze those beads together a bit. There. And you can kind of mush your beads around and Now, if you're concerned about that section, the thread we just cut off, you could actually weave it up. I'm just going to take this and weave this in. And then we'll attach the crystal. So the thread's coming out of this bead. I'm going to go in. So this is what I mean about, you could say go up these two and then I'll go over to the other side and tighten it. So that might tighten it for us. So let's go through this one. That, yeah, I tightened it actually. So now I'm going to go back over to that one, but I'm going to go up two and tighten the green as well, like that. Let's make sure my thread's not hooked, and I think it is. There. Okay, now I'll go through the green on the other side and through here. So let's pull it tight, and you can see that cleaned it up perfectly. So definitely a good idea. So now I'm just gonna get this, go on this side here. Through this one. Go through here. Make sure that doesn't hook on that bottom bead like that. There, it cinched those two together too. Now I am going to find a thread bridge, and hopefully I have enough thread to tie my knot. Sometimes it gets a bit sketch. It's tight. 1, 2, bring that down. Hang on to the end of your thread. And bring the knot and hide it through here. Cut that off. Okay, so we have, you can kind of squeeze your sides together. So now, I forgot I should have hooked. So I am going to hook this piece here into these threads here. But I would almost, like what I did on the other one was I reinforced it here so that hooking this wouldn't damage the thread. But for the sake of the video, I'll just do it now, but I'll go back and fix it. Again, it's a little more structural than the actual heart because you're attaching one piece to another, but it should be fine because they're so light and delicate. So I'm gonna try to get that, and that actually worked. Just bring this through there. There we go. So it's hooked onto both threads. So now I'm going to close this up. And make sure it's nicely closed so that the thread doesn't come through. For some reason it's not. There. And that. Put your crystal on. This is a 6mm. That. And we're going to create our loop. Take this here and create a loop. And I'm going to go back down on this side and just push it so that the loop lands in the middle of the hit pin. I'm going to open that up and attach it. That. And then close it up. And there you have it. Lovely earrings. So thank you for joining me. I hope that was instructional. Again, this was a bit like kind of a quiet video so that you could see what was going on. Definitely I'll be back with my more crazy kind of talking about life and doing beading at the same time. And thank you to everybody who participated in the 30-day challenge. If you've made bracelet designs or earrings from videos that I've done, definitely send me an email. You can check my emails in the About section of this channel, but it's also Emma DeVost, DEVOST, at gmail.com. So there you go. Happy beading, folks. I'll see you in a bit. Bye.